following announcement has been paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hello, ladies. Remember me? Let me talk to you, dummies.
It's now time
It's beer time. TikTok.
It's showtime!
for the longest running wrestling talk show in history.
We are huge. It's gonna be cool.
You're where it's at.
You smell like me.
Tune in each and every week.
You better keep listening, or I'll come out of your computer
And turn it on for you.
or else I'm gonna kick your stinking teeth in.
We've been known by a few names.
The needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the few.
The Interactive Interview,
Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Interactive interview.
The interactive interview. Interactive interview. The interactive interview.
Interactive Wrestling Radio,
Interactive wrestling radio.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive radio.
Interactive wrestling radio.
Interactive wrestling radio.
The Blaze,
Blaze 1260 AM. The Blaze.
The Blaze.
Blaze. The Blaze Rock.
and a lot of other names.
Weekend Weird of Wrestling. The Pile Driver. The Epa Wrestling Center.
3 Count Wrestling.
The Hours Lab.
But it's all one show, the Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter.
The Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter, dude. The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And your host from day one,
By ignorance or arrogance.
James Walsh.
Wake up, sleepyheads.
Dr. Carol House.
It all starts
What a rush. Oh, Boomer Sooner.
Thank you very much.
I got 2 words for you. Thumbs down. Breaking necks and cashing checks. Burn. I've heard a lot about you guys.
Check it out. Get out of my face. You win!
But I'm desperately out of time!
So what you gonna do when Blaze-a-mania runs wild on you?
now.
And welcome back to Interactive Wrestling Radio on Rebellion Week, as it is on Impact Wrestling and AXS TV. Joining us will be the man calling all the action for the big pay-per-view this weekend, as well as Thursday night's broadcast. Of course, I'm speaking about legendary D'Lo Brown. Are you with me, sir?
James, I'm good. I'm here. How are you doing? And thank you for having me on.
It's such a pleasure to have you on, sir. I mean, it's an absolute honor, to be perfectly honest. So thank you for taking the time to do this with me.
Thank you.
All right, so we mentioned that this is Impact Week on AXS TV. There's a lot of stuff happening today as we record this, and of course Thursday night's broadcast, and then the big pay-per-view this coming weekend. What's your thoughts heading into this huge week for Impact Wrestling?
I'm just excited. I can't believe it's finally here. With all the talk and all the hype, now all that is done, and only thing left now is to get to Sunday and sit in the best seat of the house and call the action. I'm so looking forward to this. Like, you can't imagine how much I want to get in that chair and call the action.
Very good. How do you enjoy being in that chair? It's a new position for you, really.
It's new. It's a challenge. It's one I've embraced and enjoying. And, you know, it's fun sitting next to a guy that I consider a friend in Matt Stryker. And we get to be 2 wrestling fans talking about something we love, and how could be, what could be better than that?
I love it. I do love you guys as an announce team, and you're totally different, but in a good way, than Josh Matthews was. You guys put a different coat of paint on the product in how you call it. Mm-hmm. You guys are more conversational. Josh was more of the straight play-by-play. Do you think that's translating to the audience, and people are reciprocating that, enjoying that?
I hope so, because it's been a lot of positive feedback, and we're trying to bring like you said, a different approach to it. I mean, we're trying to bring that more sports kind of combative kind of conversation to it, as opposed to just calling the action, which you can see right in front of you. We're just trying to add a little flavor to it, and having a unique voice that we're trying to be a depth that there's nowhere else in wrestling. And I think we're kind of finding our niche with that, and finding our place of being a unique announce guest.
Very cool. Of course, you're not new to Impact Wrestling. You've been working behind the scenes for a little while. Has that experience of working with some of the guys you're now calling the matches of made it easier to get across what they're wanting to get across to the audience?
Absolutely, because when you know the talent, and then when you can go have conversations with them, and they're very open about what they're thinking or strategy or little insight, it's easy to get that information, and then I can go convey it on television. So it is amazing the access I have. It's enjoyable that I get to do this, and yeah, my time on the other side has really, really opened the doors up for talent to trust in me and communicate with me.
I think that I could see a little bit of your influence in some of those guys because everybody has their own distinct entrance. They do their own distinct things. And I remember when I was in high school, I was talking about you, and I did the head shake. And I wear glasses, and the glasses fell off my face, and I thankfully made the Kurt Hennig catching the towel. They didn't smash on the floor. But where did the head shake come from? What's the origins of your head shake pose?
It is two parts. So if you remember back in the day, there was a defensive back who used to play for the San Francisco 49ers named Merton Hanks. Mm-hmm. He had a real long neck, and when he would intercept the ball and he was going for a pick six, he would have this thing where he would, chicken strut his head back and forth. That in the combination with Chris Tucker from Friday screaming, "You got knocked the blank out." That's kind of where the merger came together, and out of that came my cock and strut and head shake to the ring.
Very cool, very cool. Last thing on announcing, and then we'll get to starting to talk about the week's activities here, and that is that Mauro Ranallo made a surprise appearance. It sounds like he might be doing some more stuff with you guys. What do you think of Mauro Ranallo coming on board with Impact Wrestling and doing some stuff?
I think it's amazing. I'm so excited that Mauro's going to be sitting down next to us, and I've said it before. I'm looking forward to sitting under the learning tree. I'm gonna pick his brains about everything I can because he's one of the most recognizable and famous voices in combat sports, and just that little bit of time of prep with him and sitting there live action with him is going to be like a lifetime experience that I'm going to take in every aspect of it and hopefully can use it going forward. So I'm looking forward to sitting next to him.
Awesome. So we're in a weird spot with wrestling where companies are working together, which that really, it's happened before, but not to this degree. What do you think of Impact Wrestling doing things with AEW?
I think it's amazing. I think it's knocking down walls and invisible barriers and allowing the fans to think of dream matchups that you would have never thought possible, a calendar year ago. And yet here it is. Class example, here in our main event, we're going to have, Rich Swann and Kehny Omega, two men coming in. And at the end, one man is going to represent two companies as its world champion. Something like that hasn't happened in this business in wrestling in 40 or 50 years. And here we are about to present it live on pay-per-view on Sunday. So I think right now is an incredible time for wrestling, one in which people are starting to talk about wrestling again and view wrestling again in a way where it's beneficial for all. And for the companies to work together, just amazing.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of great matches on Sunday's card in particular. Is there any other match other than the main event? Because I'll delve into that a little further before we wrap up, but any other matches other than the main event that you're eyeballing and thinking, that's the one I want to see?
I got two of them. I got Tennille versus Deonna Purrazzo. I think those two ladies can flat out wrestle. They can go. And then I'm looking forward to the X Division 3-way. I think that match could steal the show. I like any combination of these guys together, let alone all three of them in the ring together. I think Josh Alexander, TJP, and Ace Austin could turn the show on its ear. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and calling that one.
That was a great match on last week's Impact, the Josh Alexander and TJP match.
Yes. Absolutely. That was and if you ask what my favorite match is to call, that match right there, I could call all day long and not get tired. Like, matches like that are amazing.
Absolutely. Not to look past Rebellion, because we're going to come back to it, but of course a lot of people remember last year's Slammiversary, which was a big show because people were talking about who might show up. And unfortunately, for some folks, kind of had the same situation happen again. Do you have any ideas, any predictions, any hints on who you might want to see show up in Impact Wrestling that suddenly became available recently?
I can guarantee you it's not me. I think it's a big question. It's on the top of everybody's mind right now, and I will let those decisions be handled by the office, and whoever walks out of that curtain, I will gladly call their match and enjoy it and have fun and talk about them in the best possible way I can.
Awesome. I got to say, you really faked me out last year when they did the Aces and Eights tease. I was really hoping to see the Aces and Eights right again.
A lot of people have been mad at me, like, what was the tease for? Why don't you bring it back? And, Ace and Eights are like the wind. They're there. You can feel them, but you can't see them, but they're always around you, so you never know when they're going to show up.
Awesome. Well, we're a year into this pandemic, and Impact Wrestling has flourished throughout it. I think you guys have put on the best wrestling that there has been out there during this whole time. I guess my question would be, as I turn in to baseball games, I'm starting to see people in the crowd. Maybe not a full crowd, but people in the crowd. And I know that even in Nashville, there's a couple of bands that I'm a fan of are starting to book dates, early summer. They're going to start having an audience there. Are you eager to get out in front of the live crowd again?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's sorely missed. Wrestling is the ultimate, improv sport, and we thrive as wrestlers, as talent, as producers, as commentators. We thrive on that instant gratification of doing something and hearing immediately from the people in the audience, and then that constant chorus of interaction back and forth is sorely missed, and I can't wait until the world is right and we can get completely out in front of people again. It's been over a year. It was Atlanta, Georgia last year was our last live show in front of the crowd, and boy, I didn't realize how much I missed it until we didn't have it, and now I can't wait. I can't wait till the day we're back out in front of people.
Very cool, very cool. And of course, like we said, we'll circle back to that big main event that's happening this weekend. As an announcer, is it difficult to walk that razor's edge and have to play the politics, but also talk about the company war that's basically going on, the somewhat of an invasion that's going on with AEW and Impact Wrestling? You got to watch your steps sometimes, but the best part about my job is we just get to go talk, and we get to say what's on our mind. And obviously, I'm gonna wave the flag of Impact because that's my home and that's where my heart is. But I'm also going to put over the fact that there's another company out there that is wanting to come in and take our World Championship and wanting to come over and take over our locker room. And so, I know the sense of pride that our talent have for our company, and they're going to represent our company in the best way possible and show AEW that we're not to mess with, and we're not somebody you can just steamroll over because you think you're bigger and better. Impact's got a lot to offer, and case in point, we're hard to kill, and that's for a reason. Absolutely. I remember Eric Bischoff on an episode of Nitro said the balance of power has shifted, and that kind of fell back into the scheme of things with a Tony Khan tweet. How would the balance of power shift should Kehny Omega walk out Impact Wrestling champion?
That's a scary thought. That's literally taking your king in chess. I mean, that's game over right there. I mean, to have, I shudder to think Kehny Omega representing Impact Wrestling as our world champion. It would change a lot of things, and it would mean a lot to the business. I guarantee you we get a lot of people talking. So, I mean, no matter what happens in this match, the world is going to be talking about wrestling again. Some negative, some positive, but at least the world will be talking about wrestling again.
All right, and I think I could probably guess who you're going to say, but can I get a prediction? Who's going to walk out world champion?
I have to go with Rich Swann. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm hanging my hat on the ability of that young man, and all the hardship he's gone through his life. This is nothing new to him. He knows how to fight from underneath. So I'm going with Swann.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know that you got a busy media day in front of you, but before I do let you go, do you mind if I ask for one last favor from you?
Please.
You probably already know what it is. Do you mind if I ask for a station ID? Just saying this is
Not
D'Lo Brown, and you're listening to the Wrestling Epicenter.
Okay, ready?
Yes, sir.
This is D'Lo Brown, and right here, right now, you're listening to the Wrestling Epicenter. You better recognize who the best is.
The preceding announcement was paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
Time to listen, and if you like what you heard, I'm glad. If you didn't like what you heard, well, go fuck yourself.
Most people done hung up on me.
We had a lovely conversation.
What a show.
Oh, mercy, Daddy.
On the radio dial. Don't hang up. Bye-bye.